Hello everyone. We all keep our doors and windows open just to have fresh air and sunlight inside our house. Am I right? But in today's story, the open window has a different secret behind it. You want to know? Let's start with today's session. From your book, It So Happened, I'm going to teach The Open Window, written by H. Munro. This is a story about a man called Framton Nettle. He suffered from nervousness and so he wanted to get himself treated. Now, Framton's sister told him to go to a village and told him to meet one Mrs. Sappleton who can treat his nervousness problem. He went to their house. He met a girl, a 15-year-old girl named Vera. Now, there was an open window in that house about which Vera told Framton. Now, what did she tell him? And then something happened which made Framton so nervous that he rushed out of the gate completely scared. What was he scared of? Did he see a ghost? Or was he scared of the dog which they had? Let's know the story completely in today's session. So today I'm going to read and explain the story to you. Then we will do comprehension check and the other question answers related to this chapter. But before I start, as usual, about the author first. Hector Hugh Munro, also known by his pen name Saki or H. Munro, was a British writer born on 18 December 1870 in Myanmar, Burma. He was an author and playwright. He was the master of the short story and often compared to O. Henry and Dorothy Parker. He was pen named Saki because he was the cupbearer in the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. His popular works are The Watched Pot, which is a play, The Rise of the Russian Empire, which is his only book published under his name, The Unbearable Bassington, a short novel, The Westminster Alice, which is a series, and more. He died on 14 November 1916 in France at the age of 45. Framton Nettle has bad nerves. He retires to the country for cure. Here, country means a village, and calls on a family friend. The lady being upstairs, her young niece refers to a family mishap. Mishap is a bad incident or a tragedy with focus on the open window. Basically, Framton Nettle has a nervous problem, and to cure this problem, he goes to a village at a family friend. The lady of the family was busy upstairs, and so there is her niece who is talking to Framton, who tells him about that open window. Let's start off with the story now. My aunt will be down presently, Mr. Nettle, said a very self-possessed young lady of 15. Self-possessed means calm and confident, who's sure of herself. In the meantime, you must try and put up with me. Put up means stay. Framton Nettle endeavored to say something. Endeavored means tried to say something which should duly flatter. Flatter means make her happy. The niece of the moment without unduly discounting the aunt that was to come. Privately, he doubted more than ever whether these formal visits of a succession of total strangers would do much towards helping the nerve cure which he was supposed to be undergoing. Framton Nettle was now sitting in Mrs. Sappleton's house. Mrs. Sappleton was busy, and so her niece, a 15-year-old girl, was sitting with Framton and talking. Framton tried to say something which would impress the niece right at the moment, and also he had thought of speaking some good words for her aunt also, who hasn't yet come out of the rooms. But individually or personally, he doubted whether these kind of visits to the total strangers, because Sappleton's family was a stranger to him, so he doubted that will it ever cure his nerve problem, which he was supposed to be getting treated. I know how it will be. His sister had said when he was preparing to migrate means shift, to this rural retreat. Retreat means withdraw or escape. You will bury yourself down there and not speak to a living soul, and your nerves will be worse than ever from moping. Moping means being unhappy. I shall just give you letters of introduction to all the people I know there. Some of them, as far as I can remember, are quite nice. Framton wondered whether Mrs. Sappleton, the lady to whom he was presenting one of the letters of introduction, came into the nice division. Do you know many of the people round here? Asked the niece, when she judged that they had had sufficient silent communion. Communion means mental connection. Hardly a soul, said Framton. My sister was here some 4 years ago, and she gave me letters of introduction to some of the people here. He made the last statement in a tone of distinct regret. Regret means feel sorry about. When Framton had decided to shift to a village for his treatment, his sister knew that Framton was a very shy person and he will never approach anyone personally. So she told him that she'll give him some letters of introduction and he can give those letters to the people whom she knew there in the village. And she told that some of the people were very nice and he will definitely benefit from it. So Framton wondered whether Mrs. Sappleton also fell in that category of nice people whom the sister knew. After a long silence between the niece and Framton, the niece asked him if he knew people round in that village. At that time, Framton told her that his sister was staying there 4 years ago and she had given him some letters of introduction for the people whom she knew. But this last statement was in a tone of regret, or he felt sorry, because Framton was basically a very shy and introvert person and he never liked interacting with strangers around him. Then you know practically nothing about my aunt, pursued the self possessed young lady. Only her name and address, admitted the caller. Here, the caller means Framton. He was wondering whether Mrs. Sappleton was in the married or widowed state. An undefinable something about the room seemed to suggest masculine habitation. Suggest masculine habitation means suggest that the room belonged to a man. Her great tragedy happened just 3 years ago, said the child. That would be since your sister's time. Her tragedy? Asked Framton. Somehow in this restful country, spot tragedies seemed out of place. You may wonder why we keep that window wide open on an October afternoon, said the niece, indicating a large French window that opened on to a lawn. So Framton told the niece that he did not know anything about Mrs. Sappleton except her name and address. He did not even know whether she was married or a widow. But when he looked at that room, it was clear to him that this room belonged to a man. And now the niece started to tell about a tragedy, a mishappening, or a bad incident which happened about 3 years ago. The niece wanted Framton to guess why they had kept a big French window open on an October afternoon. It is quite warm for the time of the year, said Framton. But has that window got anything to do with the tragedy? Out through that window 3 years ago to a day, her husband and her 2 young brothers went off for their day's shooting. They never came back. In crossing the moor is a grassland, to their favorite shooting ground, they were all three engulfed. Engulfed means buried in a treacherous means dangerous, piece of bog. Bog is a wet or spongy ground. One may sink into it. It has been that dreadful wet summer. Dreadful means terrible. And places that were safe in other years gave way suddenly without warning. Their bodies were never recovered. That was the dreadful part of it. Here, the child's voice lost its self possessed note and became falteringly human. A faltering voice is shaky, hesitant, or with pauses or halts. Of course, Framton did not understand that in quite hot October month, why should anybody keep that window open? And then the niece started to explain why it was open. And she told that about 3 years ago, on this day, Mrs. Sappleton's husband and her two young brothers had gone for a day's shooting, but they never came back. And when they were crossing a patch of grass to their favorite shooting ground, they were buried in that terrible bog, and since they could not escape, they were not saved. So it is believed that probably they were dead because their bodies were never recovered. And that was the most terrible part of this tragedy. While telling the story, niece had lost her calm and composed voice, and her voice started to shake because of the emotions that she was undergoing. Poor aunt always thinks that they will come back someday. They and the little brown spaniel. Spaniel is a breed of dog that was lost with them and walk in at that window just as they used to do. That is why the window is kept open every evening till it is quite dusk. Dusk means dark in the evening. Poor dear aunt, she has often told me how they went out, her husband with his white waterproof coat over his arm, and Ronnie, her youngest brother, singing, Bertie, why do you bound? And as he always did to tease her. Because she said it got on her nerves. Got on her nerves is an idiom which means irritated her. Do you know, sometimes on still, quiet evenings like this, I almost get a creepy feeling. Creepy means strange or scary. That they will all walk in through that window. The niece added that her poor aunt always expects that someday her husband, her two young brothers, and their dog will walk in through the same window, and that is why that window was kept open every evening till it was quite dark. And aunt had told her how they had gone out. For example, her husband, while going out, had a white waterproof coat over his arm, and her youngest brother Ronnie used to sing a particular song which always irritated her. And to this, the niece also added that whenever she sits in that room on quiet evenings like this one, she always gets that scary feeling that they will all walk through that window. The scene starts with Framton Nuttall in Mrs. Sappleton's house. He's sitting in the drawing room with a 15-year-old girl called Vera. Framton basically was suffering from a nerve disease. So he basically wanted to meet Mrs. Sappleton to cure his nerves. Now this address was given to him by his sister. Since Framton was a very shy person, the sister knew that he would not approach anyone on a personal basis, and so she had given a few letters of introduction to whoever she had told him to meet. And that's how Framton was in Mrs. Sappleton's house that day. Framton did not know much about Mrs. Sappleton except for her name and her address. There was a big window which was open. So Vera started with a story which is related to that open window. About 3 years back, Mrs. Sappleton's husband, her two brothers, and a dog went out of that window for hunting in the marshy areas. Marshy areas means which are very damp and very wet. And since then, they did not come back. So Mrs. Sappleton used to keep that window open in the expectation that someday her husband and her two brothers and the dog will come back from the same window. And then Vera also tells a few more details about Mr. Sappleton and her brother Ronnie. Mr. Sappleton had gone with a white waterproof jacket on his arm, and Mrs. Sappleton's brother youngest brother Ronnie used to sing a particular song. Bertie, why do you bound? This song he used to sing just to irritate Mrs. Sappleton. And then at the end of this part, Vera tells him that sometimes she gets a feeling that soon they are going to walk through that window and come inside. And just by that feeling, she gets very scared. This is where part 1 ends, and now let's read part 2. Mrs. Sappleton comes down at last and inadvertently means accidentally, confirms her niece's story. Framton tries to acquaint his host, acquaint means make familiar, his host with the nature of his ailment means illness. Through the open window, he can see things that worsen his nerves. Now in this part, we will read that Mrs. Sappleton comes down and through her talk, she confirms whatever niece had told. Framton tries to tell her about his illness, and then through that open window, he could see something which makes him nervous. She broke off with a little shudder. Here she is, the niece. Broke off means started to cry. Shudder means shiver. It was a relief to Framton when the aunt bustled into the room. Bustled means entered noisily with a whirl of apologies. Whirl of apologies means many apologies for being late in making her appearance. I hope Vera has been amusing you. Now Vera was the name of that niece. Amusing means entertaining. She's been very interesting, said Framton. I hope you don't mind the open window, said Mrs. Sappleton briskly. Briskly means quickly. My husband and brothers will be home directly from shooting, and they always come in this way. They've been out for snipe. Snipe means water bird that lives in marshes, in the marshes today. So they'll make a fine mess over my poor carpets. Mess means unclean or dirty. So, like you men folk, isn't it? She rattled on cheerfully. Rattled on means went on, like talking, about the shooting and the scarcity of birds, and the prospects for duck in the winter. To Framton, it was all purely horrible. While telling this tragic story, the niece started to cry. But Framton felt a bit of relief when Mrs. Sappleton entered the room with lot of apologies to Mr. Framton. Then she introduces her niece, whose name was Vera, to whom Framton had been talking. Mrs. Sappleton also told him that her husband and brothers had gone for shooting, from where they'll come directly through that window, because they had gone out to shoot birds in the marshes, and therefore when they'll enter, they'll dirty her carpets. And then she went on talking cheerfully about the shooting and the scarcity of the birds. But to Framton, when he was hearing all this, it sounded very horrible, and he started to feel awkward and scared. And whatever Mrs. Sappleton told about her husband and brothers were actually proving Vera's story too. He made a desperate but only partially successful effort to turn the talk on to a less ghastly topic. Ghastly means horrible. He was conscious that his hostess was giving him only a fragment of her attention, and her eyes were constantly straying past him. Straying means moving past him to the open window and the lawn beyond. It was certainly an unfortunate coincidence that he should have paid his visit on this tragic anniversary. Since Framton was feeling really awkward and scared, he tried to change the topic from this horrible one into something else. But he also knew that his hostess, that is Mrs. Sappleton, was not paying attention to whatever he will say, because she was constantly looking at that open window which was behind him. And he felt that it was just an unfortunate, a very unlucky coincidence that this thing had happened 3 years back on the same day when he had come to meet them. The doctors agree in ordering me complete rest, an absence of mental excitement, and avoidance of anything in the nature of violent physical exercise, announced Framton, who labored means doing something with difficulty, under the tolerably widespread delusion. Delusion means false impression or belief that total strangers and chance acquaintances are familiar people, are hungry for the least detail of one's ailments and infirmities. Ailments and infirmities relating to health means complaints of sickness or weakness, their cause and cure. On the matter of diet, they are not so much in agreement, he continued. No, said Mrs. Sappleton, in a voice which only replaced a yawn at the last moment. Then she suddenly brightened into alert attention, but not to what Framton was saying. Here they are, at last, she cried. Just in time for tea, and don't they look as if they were muddy up to the eyes? Framton now started to tell about his sickness, and he told that the doctors had told him to take complete rest and stay away from any kind of mental or physical strain or stress. This Framton told because he was under the impression that strangers or familiar people always are curious to know even the smallest detail of anyone's sickness or weakness, what causes it, and what is the cure on it. So Frampton was feeling very difficult to talk about all this, and at the end, when he said that on the matter of diet, none of the doctors agreed because they all told him to take different diets. At that point of time, Mrs. Sappleton was not actually interested in whatever Framton was telling, and just at that moment, Mrs. Sappleton saw her husband and her brothers outside in the lawn. They had just come. Frampton shivered slightly and turned towards the niece with a look intended to convey sympathetic comprehension. Sympathetic comprehension means understanding or showing sympathy. The child was staring out through the open window with a dazed horror in her eyes. In a chill shock of nameless fear, Frampton swung round in his seat. Swung means moved, and looked in the same direction. In the deepening twilight, twilight means half light or darkness, three figures were walking across the lawn towards the window. They all carried guns under their arms, and one of them was additionally burdened with a white coat hung over his shoulders. A tired brown spaniel kept close at their heels. Kept close at their heels is an idiom which means to keep up with the speed of others. They neared the house, and then a hoarse young voice, hoarse means rough, young voice, chanted out of the dusk, I say, Bertie, why do you bound? This was the line of the song which Ronnie, Mrs. Sappleton's youngest brother, used to sing to irritate her. Now let's see what happened to Frampton. When Frampton heard Mrs. Sappleton that they had come, Frampton started to shiver. He looked at the niece, who was also actually staring at the open window in horror or in a scared expression, and then there was a shock of fear in Frampton also, and he moved his seat and again looked out of the window. Now, out of the window, he saw that it was dark, and there were three people who were walking across that lawn. They had guns in their arms, and one of them was carrying a white coat over his shoulders. There was a brown dog which was also walking with them, and when they came near the house, a rough voice started to sing that same song which Mrs. Sappleton used to get irritated with. In other words, Frampton had been seeing the same scene which Vera had told him about, the way these people had gone and will come back. By now, Frampton had been completely scared because Vera had told him the story which happened 3 years back. Mrs. Sappleton also agreed with the fact, while having a conversation with Frampton, that she was expecting her husband and her brother right through that window, and that is why she had kept the window opened. But Mrs. Sappleton did not know what story Vera had told Framton. Now, just to tell something about himself, Framton told Mrs. Sappleton about his condition and what the doctors had told him. She was not listening much to Framton's problem, but her entire concentration was on the open window through which she was expecting her husband and her brother to come in. And just then, when it was dusk time, evening time, she saw those people walking through the lawn. When Framton looked at them, he shivered. He became completely nervous and he was so scared. He looked at Vera. Vera also looked at the open window with her eyes open in horror, and that entire scene was created in such a way that it made Framton believe that actually he saw a ghost. Now let's read in part 3 what happens, what did Framton do, and what is exactly the end of this story. What else can Framton do but beat a hasty retreat? Hasty means quick and retreat means withdraw or move away. Had he seen a ghost? The niece does have a knack of explaining an uncanny coincidence. Knack means special ability, and uncanny coincidence means unnatural or unexpected strange event. So now in the third part we are going to see that how Framton must have reacted to this situation. Do you think he must have seen a ghost? But this niece, Vera, has a special ability to explain these unnatural and strange events. Now let's read the last part of this chapter. Framton grabbed wildly at his stick and hat. The hall door, the gravel drive, and the front gate were dimly noted stages in his headlong retreat. A cyclist coming along the road had to run into the hedge to avoid imminent collision. Imminent means about to happen. Here we are, my dear, said the bearer of the white mackintosh. Mackintosh means a raincoat. Coming in through the window. Who was that who bolted out as we came up? Bolted out means went out or hurried out. A most extraordinary man, a Mr. Nuttall, said Mrs. Sappleton. He could only talk about his illnesses and dashed off without a word of goodbye or apology when you arrived. One would think he had seen a ghost. On seeing that scene, Framton was so scared and nervous that he did not want to stay there even for a minute longer. So he quickly grabbed his stick and hat and he rushed out of the hall door, the sandy path of the garden and the front gate so quickly that when he came on the road, he was just about to crash or have an accident with a cyclist. And then to avoid that accident, the cyclist had turned towards the hedge. On the other hand, inside the house, Mr. Sappleton asked Mrs. Sappleton who was that person who rushed out so eagerly and hastily. And then Mrs. Sappleton told him that he was Mr. Nuttall, who was an extraordinary person who was talking about his illness, and then suddenly, without an apology, he left as if he had seen a ghost. I expect it was the spaniel, said the niece calmly. He told me he had a horror of dogs. Horror of dogs means scared of dogs. He was once hunted into a cemetery. Cemetery means graveyard. Somewhere on the banks of the Ganges by a pack of dogs and had to spend the night in a newly dug grave with the creatures snarling and grinning and foaming just above him. Now these words snarling, grinning and foaming are the expressions which ferocious dogs give when they want to hunt. Enough to make anyone lose their nerve. Lose their nerve is an idiom which means to become frightened. Romance at short notice was her speciality. Now at the end, Vera tries to give a reason why Framton behaved like this, and she told everyone that It was probably because of the dog that he reacted like this. But here she tells a lie to everyone that Framton had told her that he was scared of dogs. And once it happened, a few dogs had chased him into a graveyard. And to escape from the dogs, he had hid in a newly dug grave. And those dogs were giving him ferocious expressions from above the grave. This had made him very frightened at that time. And she says that if ever it was anyone else, even that person would have become frightened. Now, this last line, romance at short notice was her specialty, means that Vera had a very special ability to explain a strange or an unnatural event in such a way that it became very interesting. Now, obviously, Framton was so scared that he did not want to stay there even for another minute. So he quickly grabbed his coat and rushed out of the door, and without even saying a word of goodbye to Mrs. Sappleton. And there was this girl, Vera, who gave a different end to that story. And what was that? She told that Framton was actually scared of Spaniel. Some time back, he had an incident where he was chased by the dogs till a cemetery. Cemetery is a graveyard. So when he saw this dog, he was reminded of that incident, and so because he got scared, he went out of the gate. So that's the story. Now let's try to put all these bits and pieces together and see what this story entirely tells us. This story is basically a mischief or naughtiness of that 15-year-old girl, Vera. At first, she lied to Framton that there was any such tragedy which happened 3 years back. But actually, nothing of this sort had happened. Mrs. Sappleton's husband, her brother, and the dog had left for hunting only in that morning. And of course, they were expected to come back in the evening. But they would come back through that open window only. So it was a story which was made up by Vera just to have some entertainment because she was bored of the everyday routine. But then it had a different effect on Framton. Poor Framton, who was there to receive a treatment, had gone worse with his disease or with his sickness because he became so nervous that he could not handle it. And poor Framton had to leave that place in a hurry. And then again at the end, Vera weaves another story. Again a lie which he tells about Framton, that Framton has had a bad experience with the dogs some years back. So after listening to this entire story, what do you think of Vera? Do you think whatever Vera did was correct? Should anyone do to any person who is mentally or physically weak? No. And this is what the chapter tells us or teaches us, that do not play any such pranks or do not fool any person with your lies, and just because you're getting bored or you want some entertainment in your life, such things are never appreciable. Be kind to others, be sensitive to others, and don't take advantage of others' situation. So that's where I finish my session, and I hope you enjoyed the story as much as I did bringing up to you. Now, the question answers of comprehension check and the exercises at the back of this chapter will be flashed in front of you on the screen. Have a look at them. I'll come back in my next video with a new topic. Till then, take good care of yourself, be kind, and don't play jokes on poor people. Bye.